Babe Prieto here with Intimacy with Injury. This is perhaps going to be the most exciting video series I have yet to do. We're going to be talking about sexual aids. Now, who doesn't like things that actually increase our pleasure, increase our intimacy? I don't think anyone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you about the different things that are out there that can help you if you have limitations to movement from injury or disease. Also, if you happen to be watching this and you don't have any issues, these things are really going to be beneficial for you too. When I do my research, there aren't specific sites that I go to that sell these pieces of equipment. I have to do research, and then based upon my knowledge as a physical therapist, I come up with strategies on how to use them effectively. So, without any further ado, let's get started. Now, I break up these sexual aids into 4 different categories. The first is sexual furniture. The second is sexual props. The third is sexual positioning aids such as straps or slings. And then the fourth is toys. Now, toys can be also divided up into medical-based and recreational. The ones that I will cover are medical-based. Now, if I tried to do all of this all in one shot, you guys would be with me all night, and after this video, you're going to be wanting to do other things tonight. So we're just going to cover sexual furniture. Way back in the 1600s from King James VII, they were already making furniture that would assist in making sex more pleasurable. This specific chair is called the Siège d'Amour, which is the siege of love, and it was meant to be a chair for threesomes and facilitating that action. Now we can fast forward to modern day. What we see here is what we call an octopus chair. Now, I'm not going to be covering any of the details of this chair because I couldn't find anything in particular that would serve my patients versus the total cost of the item. But if you want to look it up, you can. Feel free. It's called the octopus chair. Check it out. So what we're going to do is we're going to dive right into the most popular forms of sex furniture. The very first one is called the Tantra chair. Now, look at this sleek design. This is like a Ferrari. It's beautiful, the leather, the stitching, everything, and the design. Now this will set you back $1,300, but what do you get for that? Well, you're going to see 2 big curves. You're going to see a high curve and a low curve. Those are meant to position parts of your body and support them in different positions. It also has a low dip where you can sit and support your low back. It's extremely beautiful. It's extremely helpful. There are various positions that work really well. With a standard missionary position works wonderfully with a woman who has a back injury. For the man who has a back injury, the cowgirl or reverse cowgirl is amazing. Also, you can try various doggy styles from standing with the high curve to kneeling with the low curve, and it's very supportive to your trunk. There are many other things that can be done on this, and all you have to do is look up Tantra chair for different positioning ideas. Now, its competitor is a product by Liberator. It's called the SX Chaise Lounge. Now we can see from this one is there are a few differences. The first is that it has the highest hump is actually lower than on the Tantra chair. But what it does is it has a pillow to make up for that height. Now I can speak from personal experience that pillow doesn't really stay there, so it got kind of annoying trying to position it to make my neck feel good. So if you have a neck injury, it's probably not the best thing for you. Some of the other differences, if you note that the Tantra chair has legs or posts on the bottom of it to elevate the height of it. If you wanted to do that on the chaise lounge, you could do that as well. that's going to set you back another $550 plus. So when you're looking at the $1,300 for the Tantra chair versus a $500 to $900 cost of the Liberator, that's not including elevating it. You're actually going to possibly be spending just as much, if not more, for a product that personally I feel is inferior. Now, it's kind of like buying a souped up Toyota instead of actually having the Ferrari. So if you're going to do it, my advice, just go ahead and go for the Ferrari. Now, the next thing we're going to look at is called the intimate rider. Now, the intimate rider was developed by a man with C6, C7 paraplegia. And if you notice the high back, it allows for good trunk support. So if you don't have a whole lot of trunk control or musculature in this midsection from a spinal cord injury, or perhaps any other disease which has led to immobility for a long period of time, this gives you extra support. Also, it helps you move your hips in a very easy, fluid manner without much difficulty at all. Now, this will set you back about $500, and you can also pay an extra $150 for a cot that allows the receiver of the intimacy to be either lying on their belly or lying face up. And you can also check out the website for various positions as well. It's called the Intimate Rider. Now, the next thing that we have is called the sex chair. It also is called a body bouncer. It has various names. Now this, I specifically had an idea in mind, and I researched and I found this. And this is amazing because this will allow for intercourse where the receiver is on top and the giver is on bottom, and there's very little impact on the person or pressure for the person on the bottom or impact for the person on top. So this is very great for any givers that have back pain, and they can lie on the ground, position their body with support and towels under the small of their back and supporting their head and their knees, and just enjoy, sit back and relax as the magic happens. A couple of the downsides to this is the heavier you weigh, the lower to the ground this elastic is going to go, so you have to be careful. It will set you back about $60 to $120. But it's really a great tool. Now, before you guys go out and go spending money, I want you to think about how you can use the things that you have in your home already to spice up or give you ways to position with less pain and with more mobility. So number one, especially for guys that are in a wheelchair, if you remove the armrest of the wheelchair, it gives you a whole lot of opportunity to have your woman straddle you or face away from you and have very little restriction. Or you can leave them on and let her hold on to those. The next thing is the bed. The corner of the bed is particularly excellent because it allows for the person that's standing to be in a nice posture. You can even wear a belt to support your low back. And if it's the person that's the receiver that's lying on the bed, their back can be supported by any number of things like wedges or towels or pillows. And we'll get into that in the next video that talks about sexual props. Okay, so then the next thing that's been right here all along is the couch. And you probably know that very well. You can position yourself with pillows that work much the same as a Tantra chair, but it's not as fancy and not as convenient because the pillows move and you have to worry about getting them in the right position. But don't forget about the chair. And then the holy grail of home furniture for sex is the ottoman. Think about the ottoman because it's low to the ground. It's perfect for if the giver is on his or his knees. The receiver can be lying on top of the ottoman, either on their back or bending over on their knees. It just allows incredible amount of flexibility, especially with oral sex, and various items. So if you have any other questions, please feel free to give me a call. I give free consultations. I'm here to serve and help you increase the intimacy and pleasure in your life and restore happiness. So take a look at my website. It's called intimacywithinjury.com. I hope to hear from you, and keep an eye out for that next video. Cheers.